From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. President Trump has a new trade deal, and he says it's the biggest trade deal in U.S. history. It's gonna send cash and jobs pouring into the United States. But many economists and trade experts say that the president's forecast might be just a teensy-weensy bit overly optimistic. Shocker, right? The president has christened it the U.S.-Mexico-Canadian Agreement, or the USMCA. And it was praised on Monday from business groups to farmers to investors. Even Democratic lawmakers were praising it. But the president's promise that the deal will create high-quality American jobs, ushering in a new dawn for the American auto industry, is not actually the assessment of professional economists. Many are calling the deal a marketing exercise, and I don't even know what that means. But nonetheless, Trump celebrated the new agreement with a White House Rose Garden ceremony in which he said the deal included stronger labor protections and would make it easier for Americans to sell, American farmers specifically, probably anybody, but specifically American farmers to sell their goods to Canadian customers. While some doubt that it's going to be the deal of the century, most do believe that this deal is going to be an improvement, a big improvement even that, albeit an improvement from a trade war that we're having with our best buddy to the north, the Canadians, who we pretty much historically have always gotten along with. Now, the agreement may create some additional jobs and for the United States and for Canadians in the short run. Companies over time could look to cut costs by using more robots in their factories, but I'm not sure if this trade deal is intended to fight that off anyhow. But when we're looking at jobs, I think that might be a big risk to us. But maybe this is going to be the greatest trade deal of all time. At this point, Trump is the only one claiming it's the greatest trade deal of all time. But you know what? I'll wait and see how it turns out. We'll give it history to judge. Finally, a feel-good story. I've been feeling bad about how much stuff I order on Amazon. But today, Amazon announced it's going to raise its minimum wage for all U.S. employees to $15 an hour. The change is going to take effect on November 1st, and it will apply to full-time, part-time, temporary, and even seasonal workers. Overall, that means over 250,000 Amazon workers will get a pay raise from this, in addition to more than 100,000 seasonal employees that the company hires at various times throughout the year. Jeff Bezos, is it Bezos? You know, the Amazon CEO said in a statement, "We listened to our critics, thought hard about what we wanted to do, and decided we wanted to lead." The federal minimum wage is currently only $7.25 an hour, and it hasn't risen since 2009. The retail giant has faced criticism for not paying its workers enough, especially in light of Bezos' immense wealth. He's currently considered the richest person in the world with a net worth of $165 billion. What? Amazon isn't the only company making moves to raise wages for its employees. Target recently vowed to raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2020. Walmart announced back in January that it plans to raise its minimum wage to $11 an hour. Weak sauce, Walmart! Just this coming before the holiday season and before it picks up. And it could affect a lot of struggling Americans in the way that it really matters, getting paid to work hard. $7.25 an hour? That's a terrifying minimum wage. Amazon has also vowed to lobby to raise the federal minimum wage. I am all for it. I might splurge and buy something on Amazon for myself. I deserve it. I'm voting with my dollar. You do the same. More drama on the South China Sea. On Sunday, warships from the United States and China came really close to colliding in disputed waters. The Pentagon claims, or I would say not just claims, accuses China's Navy of using unsafe and unprofessional maneuvers when one of its destroyers challenged an American destroyer on Sunday. The U.S. ship had to move to avoid being hit. Now, China claims almost all of the South China Sea, but it faces competing claims from Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Taiwan. It seems like everybody says they have some sort of rights to some of the South China Sea. As tensions have increased over trade and other issues, the United States and other nations have intensified their naval and aerial patrols of the sea to signal that the territories remain in international waters. Britain, France, and Japan have also conducted operations there in recent months, leaving China to think that there's some sort of collusion going on in the South China Sea. But take it from our president, there is no collusion. I'm not certain that that's what he's referencing, but he's clearly said it many times. The American voyages are not intended to challenge any claims, but rather to assert the right of innocent passage within 12 nautical miles of a coastline that's considered territorial waters under international law. It's a little over my head, but it's being said by people much smarter than me. Let's just go ahead and call that no man's land. No one gets it. Is that fair? Fair enough? There's dangerous encounters on the high sea, and China's being passively aggressive, right? Maybe it's not passive aggressive. It sounds like if they're blocking, it's aggressive. Last week, China abruptly canceled an annual security meeting planned for this month with the Defense Secretary Jim Mattis in Beijing, not long after calling off the trade talks in Washington. Now they're trying to hit some warships in no man's land. China, you're on notice. You're acting naughty. On Friday, Jeff Flake shocked the world when he said that his yes vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee to send Brett Kavanaugh to the general floor for a Senate vote to become a Supreme Court judge for life was contingent on the FBI opening up their investigation again into the allegations on Brett Kavanaugh. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, on the other hand, would have liked to have this vote last week. But he says that we are going to have this vote hell or high water this coming Friday because that's Mitch McConnell's deadline. But when Senator Flake was asked if he supports having the vote this Friday, Senator Flake said, "It depends on where we are with the FBI investigation. The agreement was that we wouldn't have a closure vote until the report was filed." Well, that's what Flake told a CNN reporter at the Washington airport Tuesday morning. I'm still working on that Senator Jeff Flake impersonation. It's weak. It sounds like Eeyore. It's embarrassing. Nonetheless, there's no actual deadline to have to vote Friday. Come on, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. There's no real deadline. Any deadline they're making is a fake deadline. We could wait until after the midterms. I'm not saying we have to. I'm just saying we could. It's a fake deadline. What's real, though, is the investigation that's going on. Now, when they opened up the investigation, reopened it, Trump originally said that it was going to be very limited in scope. And I can't quote him on that. I didn't hear him say that. But they really wanted to keep it down to the specific people that were mentioned throughout the last hearing. But then, obviously, it didn't, people were upset. They were like, how can you know about things that you didn't know about that you might want to ask? So more people are coming out of the woodwork, left and right, basically to corroborate that he did have a drinking problem. And he pretty much straight up lied under oath about not blacking out. And when I say it's pretty much. It's, I would say beyond a reasonable doubt. Wouldn't you say it would be beyond a reasonable doubt? He got in some bar fight, and this bar fight is coming out into the papers now. He's named in it, where somebody, apparently, he's listed as throwing ice at someone. They got cut by glass. It seems like it's just a drunken bro drama. Not that big of a deal unless you've been saying that your drinking has never been a problem. Sounds like it was a problem there. Wait, maybe he doesn't remember. Oh, busted. I thought you said that you never drank to the point where you forgot anything. Oh, maybe I'm just getting excited, but I just think this guy might not be cut for the court. When the FBI gets up in your business and things start to come out, maybe it's time to shut down the operation. Good luck to you, Brett Kavanaugh. I've already heard that you're not going to be teaching coming up soon at Harvard. So I'm not hoping that your life is over. I'm just hoping that you're not in the Supreme Court, because I don't trust your under oath testimony, and I don't trust the way you were behaving when you were educating yourself in law.